Hey baseball fans, Anthony with Bleacher Bums Gaming, and tonight we're going to get a first channel look at a game I've had for a little bit. Have not played it much, but I've been wanting to play it more and more. Again, just time constraints with stuff going on with Glory Days games and just life in general. But tonight we're going to get this on the channel for a Let's Play, and this is Season Ticket Baseball. And Season Ticket Baseball, cards and dice baseball offering by Dreslough. And most people will know Clay as the creator of Baseball Mogul and Football Mogul, two long-running and very popular computer simulations of those respective sports. And this is his big foray into the tabletop baseball world. And this is a game that's been was in development for years, actually. Lots of play testing, and I actually play tested this probably two years ago when it was not in its current state or iteration, and was intrigued by it then. It's a game that really incorporates a pretty good flow between pitcher, batter. It's got a stadium chart and rare play chart as well as a defensive charts, which are player specific, and actually, unlike most games which give you a rating and you will check against a rating with a fast action card, a roll of a dice, or whatever, this actually gives you the defensive play right on the position player's card. So it's a very unique twist there, and it's something, again, that flows very well. You can see very nice big cards. The stadium cards are a full 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock, or print-on cardstock. And it's got, you know, some cosmetics, the dimensions and an image of the ballpark. Some optional weather rules you can use, and then of course the deep drives chart here, which determines home runs, doubles, flyouts, etc., based on ballpark. So it's basically a look at the components, and it does have a very extensive rule book. It's got a lot of different optional rules you can use. I believe the rule book is right around 40 pages. And you can go through that and implement as much as you want from the optional rules. Or if you are familiar with cards and dice baseball, which most people that would be watching this are, you can basically just pick out the quick start card, and it gives you enough information between this and then you get a defensive strategy chart and steal, runner advancement, and then also some offensive strategies such as bunting and double play, etc. So really minimal charts. And again, if you don't want to use a lot of the optional rules or go through the rule book, you know, you get these 4 charts out and you're good to go. So, and that's honestly, I have not completely read thoroughly. I've skimmed through and read a lot of the rule book, but I haven't thoroughly read it, and I've been able to play games really with no issues. Might have to check a thing or two as I go, but yeah, it's very intuitive, and like I said, flows very nicely. So we're going to, well, I guess right off the bat, talk about a couple of things I really do like. One I already mentioned was the card size. Very easy to read, especially for folks in our genre, as a lot of us are north of 40 or 50 or even 60. And it's a very unique runner advancement. So here you see a runner advancement on hits, and you really add speed, and then you will roll and add up 3 dice. And the dice that you need, by the way, are a red 6-sided, a white 10-sided, and a blue or black 10-sided as well. And when you roll them for the results, they are read in sequential order: red, white, and blue or black. And they also come into play when attempting to do things like take an extra base. You see here, you take the runner's speed rating, and we'll just use Bump Wills as an example. So if he was to challenge an outfielder's arm, either by choice or mandatory based on the card result, which they will tell you that. You would take a speed rating, roll these 3 dice, add them up, in this case 17, and then if he was, if that result, so 17 plus his, or actually not 17 plus his speed rating, so that would be 23, and then you would look at the outfielder you were challenging, their arm rating, add 10 to that, and if this was more, he would be safe. So it's a very, again, unique and easy to use system, easy to pick up on, and works really well, actually. So definitely a positive there. And I do, again, like the way that you kind of just, it uniquely flows between the cards and the stadium chart, and you know, also rare plays as well. And really, honestly, at this point, the only really nitpick I have with it is, you know, and I think this is probably more than just myself, I've heard a couple other people mention it, is the fact that it takes up a big footprint if you really want the defensive ratings handy for you. And, you know, by that, obviously, you could have the cards stacked in a batting order. I actually have them off to the side in the batting order, so I can find defensive ratings a little easier if need be. But, you know, that's the one thing. It is kind of cumbersome sometimes if you just have the cards stacked in a batting order to sort through and find a defensive player's chart. And then the other thing with the defensive ratings, there's only room on the cards for one position. And the rule book does tell you how to adjust if they play multiple positions, such as Bump Wills here. Second base is primary, but he's also rated as a shortstop and first baseman. So it does show you how to adjust that. But again, that takes I guess a little bit of math by the player. You know, so that's a very minor nitpick and far from a deal breaker. But I guess the one thing I would maybe look at, or we'll probably look at doing eventually myself, is maybe trying to consolidate the information. Well, I guess not necessarily on the stadium chart, but maybe making a chart for each team that actually consolidates all the defensive ratings there. That probably would be the easiest way to do it, and make it a lot smaller footprint where you could do a stacked batting order and then just have those defensive charts off to the side or here in front of the camera, wherever. But again, very minor, and it, you know, doesn't add 10, 20 minutes to playing the game. Just probably, I would say, over the course of the game, maybe 3 to 5, 6 minutes is all. So, you know, not a big deal, but it's really it. So let's take a look at how this works. And there's also a lot of other good videos. Dave Gardner did a very good video on why he likes it on his channel and why he plays season ticket baseball. And Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV as well, has done a tutorial on this. So lots of resources if you want to check this out. Now, the other thing that may put some people off is right now most of the seasons are only available via PDF. He is working on getting more printed seasons out, and printed seasons will show up from time to time, but does not have a full complement of printed seasons for every season rated. But in terms of number of seasons, pretty much everything from 1950 forward. And he's getting ready to go back and actually work on 1901 through 1949, which makes me very happy because, of course, dead ball aficionado. Definitely want to see that. So looking forward to that as well. So let's go ahead and play through this. And again, we'll just play a couple of sample innings, and then I'll give you my final thoughts on this. So here we go. All right, Matt Keogh versus Bump Wills to start it off. Rangers and A's playing at Oakland Coliseum. And the pitching matchup will be Fergie Jenkins, of course, opposing Keogh for the A's. Batting orders for the Rangers, it'll be Bump Wills, Juan Beniquez, Bobby Bonds, Richie Zisk, Al Oliver, Mike Hargrove, Toby Harrah, Jim Sundberg, and Bert Campaneris. For the A's, it will be Mike Edwards, Wayne Gross, Tony Armas, Mitchell Page, Dave Revering, Rico Cardi, Jeff Newman, Joe Wallace, and Mario Guerrero at shortstop. All right, so our roll. 166. So that's going to come off of the pitcher's card. And you look down here, that's a potential wild pitch, and that's not going to be applicable as there are no runners on. So we'll roll it again, and 331 coming off the batter's card here, and Bump Will strikes out to start the game. So 1 down for the Rangers, Juan Benitez up. And 635, so 635, we are going to the stadium card here. 635 is going to be a fly out to center field. So Benitez drives one deep, and that's going to be camped under and caught by Joe Wallace for the A's. 2 down, and Bobby Bonds, who hit 29 home runs, and this is a 1978 season, by the way. As you can see the chart here for the Oakland Coliseum. All right, 198, and again going to the pitcher's card. That's going to be a bloop double for Bonds. So the Rangers, 2 outs and a runner in scoring position for Richie Zisk for the cleanup hitter. And Zisk is the designated hitter today as Al Oliver is playing in the left field for the Rangers. 142, again coming off the pitcher's card, and that is a walk. So the Rangers now, runners on first and second, 2 down for Al Oliver. Keogh in a little bit of a jam. And here we go, 315 coming off the batter's card, swing and a miss, and the curveball gets Oliver, and that retires a side. So the A's extricate themselves from that jam as the Rangers lead a couple, and Fergie Jenkins now going to take the mound for Texas. And he'll face Mike Edwards, Wayne Gross, and Tony Armas. Let's see if Fergie, actually one of my favorite pitchers from my youth, and this, of course, in the latter years of his career. He was 35 years old in 1978. It's going to be a 365, and that's going to be a ground ball down to shortstop. Now here, if there was a runner on first base, and this is another thing I didn't mention that I like about the game, it directs you off of the cards on different play results. You can see here there's a potential double play. This would be a force out, of course. So those are kind of baked into the cards, which is cool. And again, it reduces the need to do extra rolls or look things up on charts. And if, of course, this does not exist, that's a simple 6-3 ground out. So a very cool mechanism there. And again, this was in development for a long time. So Clay really put a lot into this. And you know, I think he's got a very good game right now at this point. And will only be refined, because one thing about Clay, too, is he is constantly working on his products. If you have played his computer games, baseball and football Mogul, you know that. And expect the exact same from this. And again, very much looking forward to the dead ball seasons when they come out. All right, so Gross up to face Fergie, and it's going to be a 264, which comes off of Fergie's card. And that is going to be a deep drive to right field, and again, versus a lefty or switch hitter. All right, so what we do there is on the field chart, there is a deep drive column, and again, this goes to right field. So we're going to be looking here, and the way it works is you add the power, and then you roll white and blue or black dice, and basically add those numbers up and scroll down the chart here, and it will tell you what the result is. So you can see in the Coliseum, the parks are rated for how easy or hard it is to hit home runs to different fields. Pretty much equal across the board here for home runs in terms of right, left, and center. All of them have the same number of home runs, and then a couple of other outs mixed in there. All right, so Gross, his power is a 4. And 7, that is not going to get it done. But that will be a double and chance for runners to advance. A batter has an opportunity to try and go for 3, and we're going to stay put because he's not very speedy. So runner on second base, and Tony Armas up to face Fergie as the A's look to get on the board here early in this one. 254 and 254 off of Fergie's card. That is going to be Right-handed batter, that's going to be a deep fly to center field. So our Moss, power rating of 2. This was not one of his prolific home run years. So 9, that's going to make it an 11, and that is a deep fly ball to center field. And fly out to center, and runner on third can tag on his own risk. And of course, Gross is on second, so he stays put. And that brings up Mitchell Page. Page, the cleanup hitter. Fergie, ready to go, and it is 409, which will be off of Page's card. And 409 versus a right-hander, that is going to be a base on balls. So just like the Rangers did, Oakland, runners on first and second, 2 down. And Dave Revering, 16 home runs in 1978, steps in against Fergie. Here comes a pitch. 644, and 644 going to the stadium card. And that is going to be a routine fly ball to center field, and coming in and parking under that is Beniquez, and the A's are retired as well. So that's basically it. We'll play one more inning just to give you a, see if we get a little bit more of the game involved here. But it's really simple. You know, you see, just again, pitcher batter to stadium card. Haven't had any defensive results yet. So hoping one of those come up. For the Rangers in the second inning, it's going to be Hargrove, Toby Harrott, and Jim Sundberg. And a lot coming off of the pitcher's card for Keogh, and 284. 284 is going to be a fly ball to deep right field. And Hargrove's power is a 4. So deep right, 13, and 13 is going to be a fly ball. And going back near the warning track to pull that in is Tony Armas. 1 down, Toby Harrah, the batter. And again, that's another thing I really like too, is the way the power factors in with the roll. So you get variety there. It's not necessarily always going to be a home run. And even the batters that don't have a lot of power with a good 2D10 roll can get up there and put one out as well. And of course, the odds are weighted based on the park, which very subtle how the park factors come into play there. And again, I think very, very well done. It's a very good design. All right, Hera facing Keogh, and it's going to be a 364 result. 364, again, off the batter's card. That's going to be a pop fly into foul territory, and Revering over near the stands pulls that in. So 2 quick outs for Matty K once again. Let's see if he can get out of the inning 1, 2, 3 this time. Here comes a pitch, and 284. 284 off the pitcher's card is going to be a drive to deep left field this time for Sundberg. So Keogh's given up some long balls, no damage yet though, and that's going to be 15 plus power of 4, 19, and what do we say, left field. That ball is gone. So Jim Sundberg, just as I say that, takes Keogh out of the ballpark, and it is 1-0. Rangers in the lead, and Bert Campaneris up. Also a veteran, age 35 in 1978. Here comes a pitch from Keogh, and we have our first defensive check. So the way this works, and actually this is going to be a rare play, so I take that back. And that is probably the one chart I do not have out. Oh, gosh darn it. Okay, yeah, that one I did not grab. So what we're going to do is we're going to pretend it is a 570. So what we'll do there is just look at it as a defensive check. Of course, 5-0 would be off the rare play chart. So here's how this works. So you'll take the D10 that is the second digit, which should be that, but again, 7, and you just match that up to the position of the baseball player, the baseball position on the field numerically. And of course, baseball positions are numbered from 1 to 9, starting from pitcher out to right field. So 7 is a left fielder. And left fielder for the A's in this game is going to be Mitchell Page. So 570, and then you would look here on this section of his card. 570 is a fly out to left, and that's going to end the inning. And I should, this symbol here, this stands for a runner on third. So in this case, where it is a question mark and an exclamation point, they must challenge the outfielder's arm. So they would have to try and score on that, but of course that is not applicable. So that does it for the Rangers in the second, and we'll do one more half inning with the A's. It's going to be Rico Carty, the veteran 38-year-old designated hitter for Oakland, and Jeff Newman and Joe Wallace. So Texas holding a 1-0 lead. Here comes a pitch. 329 is going to be off the batter's card, and that is a deep drive to right field, and the pluses mean that would have advanced runners, but of course nobody is on, so that is just a loud out, one down. You can see how quickly these bats at-bats resolve too. Not a lot of, technically you can go for an inning or two or three or four without even having to look anywhere but the cards, which is also very nice. So 343 and Jeff Newman, the batter, that is going to be another deep fly ball, this time to right field, and going back near the wall, and the track to pull that in is Bobby Bonds. 2 down, and Joe Wallace, center fielder for Oakland, the batter. Fergie's got the sign, and coming off Fergie's card, 166, and that's going to be a shallow fly ball to left field, and Al Oliver camps out under that, and that is going to do it. Side retired. So that's really it. Again, very quick look, and you can see it's just a very, very intuitive and easy game to play, especially once you get going. And in this quick start card here, this again shows you, talks about what the dice, how to read the dice, obviously red, white, blue. 1s and 2s off the red dice pitcher, 3s and 4s batter, 5 rare plays and defense, 6 stadium card, and then certain results like we saw. We had several deep drives direct you to the deep drive chart on the stadium card, and then we didn't get any of these, and let's see if we have one handy here with these batters or pitchers. So you can see here on the pitcher's card. So you could roll off the pitcher's card, and we'll just do an example here. Say Matty Keogh is facing Bobby Bonds. So we roll a 274, and what that does is it directs you to the a similar or a different number on the batter's card. So 274, and the way it works is it's directing you to 5, 4, and then the X means you would use the actual number that you rolled on the initial dice roll on the batter's card. So this would go to 544 on Bond's card, and then you would go, or actually, I'm sorry, 544 would be a defensive check. So 544, you would go to the second baseman's card for Oakland. And that is Mike Edwards. So 544 and 542 to 545 is a 4-3 ground out. So that's how that works. Another example here, if you rolled 206, that would direct you again to Bond's card, and Bond's right-handed batter. So you would take the first number off of his card, 4, and again, if you rolled 202, it would be 402 on his card, and 402 on Bobby Bond's card would be a walk. Conversely, if you rolled, and actually that would pretty much encompass anything here, would be a walk off of his card, as he's 400 to 420. But to show you how the interaction comes into play, say Richie Ziska's up there and you roll a 418. So, or a 218, so that would become a 418, 4 plus the last 2 digits of the roll, 418. Going to Richie Zisk's card against a right-handed pitcher, that becomes a 6-4-3 potential double play. So that's another very, very cool mechanic, how the pitcher interaction comes into play in terms of redirecting you, and how that just dynamic plays together. And I wish I had... I actually do not believe any batters redirect you to the pitcher's card. Yeah, I should know that now. So that's going to come into play with pitchers. Let's look at Fergie too. You see on Fergie's card, he does not have as many redirections as Keogh does. So Fergie's really only redirection here is in the 100 roll. So let's say we'll sample that with a couple of batters. And we'll look at Mitchell Page, first of all. So here again, rolls a 117. This would convert to a 317, 3, plus the 2 digits of the roll. So you go over to Mitchell Page's card, 317 is a strikeout. And really any redirection here, 100 to 141, would end up being a strikeout on Mitchell Page's card, which again brings into play batters who strike out a lot more. And another very cool mechanic, let's get an example of somebody who does not strike out as much. And Mario Guerrero, good example. So Guerrero, if you roll a 109, that becomes a 309 strikeout. But you roll a 339 or 139, that becomes a 339. It's going to be a 6-4 ground out. Conversely, if you roll a 119, that becomes a 319, and that's an infield single. So it's really subtle, but as you get into the game and see the different batter-pitcher matchups, it really does make a difference in the gameplay, and that's, again, one of my favorite features. So that's really it, guys. Very simple to play, and again, just it's unique, and what I like, too, with a lot of games, and so many unique designs out there for baseball games, you know, payoff pitch, and of course inside pitch are like my 1A, 1B, and I think even with limited play on this, just because the mechanic is so unique, it's definitely up there with those two as games that are probably going to get a lot of playing time for me, or games when I do have time to play a baseball board game that I'm going to look for. And of course I have 1978 for this, which is one of my favorite seasons, Yankee World Championship, and of course Guidry's 25 win year. So yeah, this is a game that, and a lot of these ratings here, you know, like on the batter cards, power, the ratings that come into play are bolded. So power, bolded, 5, that's always going to come into play when you get a deep drive. Speed, obviously, with advancing, and steal as well, but it's not part of the normal flow of the game in terms of balls put in play, etc. You know, so that's easy. Then, you know, a couple of other things here, just kind of window dressing to give you a reference point on the batter. But one other thing, too, you can look at the defensive ratings, you know, and you can see subtle differences there. So here, comparing two second basemen, Wills and Mike Edwards. Wills a little bit more likely to get a double play on a defensive roll. Also a little bit more sure-handed. He is only going to make an error on 549, whereas Edwards will make it 548 and 549. And then also Wills will get to more balls. And it's another cool thing. You look at these, and range is really baked into the cards as well here too. So Wills obviously a little bit better range. He only has a single hit that he's going to give up because he cannot get to the ball, where Edwards will have a couple. So again, just subtle things like that can come into play and definitely change a game based on who the fielder is or who the batter is, even in the pitcher-batter matchup. So I just wanted to point out those things. Definitely at this point, like I said, my only nitpick is it takes up a big footprint, at least for me, until I devise a chart where I get all the defensive ratings here, which I just haven't had time to do. And then it'll be like any other baseball game. And again, that is my only nitpick, is that it can be a little bit cumbersome getting the defensive results if you have the cards stacked in a batter order. And, you know, you can see I do not. I'll just tilt the camera. I've got them lined up here in the batting order, so it's easy for me to find out who a position player is and check that. But that's really it. I mean, I don't have anything else even nitpicky to say about the game. It's a very fun game. The first game I played, in fact, I got through in about, like 40 minutes. It was a very exciting game. Had some late inning dramatics, and the Yankees hung on for a win. Of course, that was the first team I played. So, yeah, and you know, the game, it has a kind of narrative that plays out, too, based on the cards, which is not always the case in some games. And, you know, I'm not a big fan of 50-50 games, and this is definitely not a 50-50 game. And you might look at it and say, well, you've got 2 results on the pitcher, 2 on the batter, and then 2 on defense and stadium charts. Isn't it kind of a 33-33-33 game? No. And again, you know, that has to do with the way the pitchers can redirect results and how different batters are rated as well. So it just really flows nicely. It's very intuitive. So yeah, definitely making my current Mount Rushmore of baseball games. Which for me right now, again, payoff pitch, inside pitch, getting a spot on the Mount Rushmore. And going back a long way to a game that still resonates with me is Status Pro. So it's up there too. And, you know, there's competition for that last spot that Status Pro currently occupies, and I could put either Field Day or Fall Classic Baseball, 2 very good games as well up there. So, but that's it. First look at this, and I will eventually get some time to get some complete games. I do want to read the rule book completely, and again, I like to read through rule books 2 or 3 times thoroughly, so that I've kind of got it imprinted in my mind. And, you know, then again, you look at the rule book, it is a lengthy rule book for a baseball game, but it gives you so many options, and there's also a lot of charts and examples, etc. in there. So it's very, very well put together, and, you know, lets you pick and choose how you want to play, which is always nice. And that's one thing I've tried to do with the games I've designed, Glory Days Boxing, college football, is offer a good format of rules, but also allow enough flexibility that the user can pick and choose optional rules, and even make it easy to house rule the games as well. And like I said, the only house thing I will do here is move these defensive ratings onto a single chart. But that's it. So great game, and of course you would expect that from someone like Clay Dreslough, who again has a lengthy resume in terms of sports game designs with baseball and football Mogul, and his first foray into the baseball cards and dice genre is very, very impressive. So highly recommend this game. And again, right now mostly only PDF, and it comes 6 players to a sheet, and I'll get a sheet or a team that I have not cut yet, you know, to show you get a good variety of players too. Not everybody is going to be carded, but for me, that's you know, that's something that does really not matter. So I can make do doing a replay. So Kansas City Royals here from 1978, very solid squad. So 18, Al Roboski, one of my favorite relievers from that decade. So 18, 24, 30, and actually, I guess I take that back. 33 players. He may have everyone carded here in these. I haven't gone through all the teams, so I shouldn't say yay or nay to that one way or another. But I would say 33 players for Kansas City for that time period probably is everybody that's carded. And let's look at Milwaukee. Was not a big Brewers fan, but I like this guy, Gorman Thomas. He had the look of a beer league softball player, and apparently a very cool guy too. So they have 18, 24, 31. So yeah, he may have all the key players or players over a certain amount of at-bats. I don't want to say for sure on that. I'll have to go back and refresh myself on that. But it's definitely a very robust carding in terms of number of players. So, and like I said, to me, I know some people it's a huge deal. To me, if I'm missing a couple of players on a team, you know, I'm not one that says, oh, so-and-so played 2 games and got 5 at-bats, whatever. You know, I'll just throw another card in there. So again, definitely not a big deal at all for me. So that's it. Thanks for watching this. Subscribe, thumbs up if you like this video. And like I said, we'll get some full games of this on the table. Thinking about maybe doing a Ron Guidry replay. I've got one of those going on with Field Day Baseball as well. But can never have enough Ron Guidry and the Yankees. So Anthony with Bleach Bums Gaming. Hope you all have a great night. And again, highly recommend Season Ticket Baseball by Clay Dreslough. Can be found just on his Sports Mogul website with his computer games as well. And looking forward again to more teams from this, and especially teams prior to 1950. So hope you all have a good night, and we'll talk to you later. Anthony with Bleacher Bums Gaming. Keep rolling, and we'll see you.